In the summer of 2017, a group of teachers and students from both Taiwan and the mainland arrive in Qianshan County, Jiangxi, for a tour of the Hu Academy. The seminar is named Master Zhu's Path. It aims at the continuation and development of Zhu Xi's philosophy. This year marks its 10th season. At the academy, teachers and students sit practicing Jingzuo, quiet sitting meditation. It's an ancient method of self-cultivation. 8 centuries ago, this location was the site of one of the most famous debates on metaphysics in Chinese history. The participants were Zhu Xi and the Lu brothers, all leading Confucians of the southern Song dynasty. That event has been known ever since as the Hu debate. In the autumn of the year 1167, Zhu Xi and a group of his students, including Lin Yongzhong, left the Wuyi Mountains aiming to reach Hunan by the following month. They crossed great canyons and steep mountains, enduring all the hardships of a long journey. In Zhu Xi's time, Qianshan was known as Tanzhou. Then as now, the Qianshan River flowed through it from south to north. At the beautiful Orange Isle, the waters split and then reconverge. The 2 ferries, Wenjin on the east bank and Dao'an on the west, have for the past 800 years or so shared one name, Zhujiang Ferry. They were named after Zhu Xi and Zhang Shi, who in their day crossed the river frequently to join in debate and discussion.
他们2位是非常亲密的道友，在面对面讨论之前呢，事实上他们进行了长达好几年的这个书信的讨论，在那里面，事实上2个人对对方呢就非常的倾慕，这也是他们动议要来见面讨论的一个基础。
On the east bank of the Xiangjiang River stands a college building where, from 1913 to 1921, a young man by the name of Mao Zedong spent 8 years studying and working. The precursor of this college was no other than the Changnan Academy, founded by Zhang Shi in the southern Song dynasty. Zhang Shi was 3 years younger than Zhu Xi and a student of Hu Hong, who studied with the eminent Neo-Confucians of the northern Song dynasty, Chang Yi and Chang Hao. Zhang Shi then was the leader of the Huxiang school, a significant branch of Neo-Confucianism that Zhu Xi had long been keen to study further.
朱熹年轻的时候，他自己的话语就叫做“若旅人之茫茫无归也”，他就好像一个迷途的羔羊，他想找到正道上去，他没有路数，他没有这个本领。 于是呢，他就读各种书嘛，因为他也知道胡湘学派的这个大师胡宏厉害。他读到胡宏的支言的书的时候，哎呦，他就感觉到跟自己的心灵印证了呀，他非常兴奋，他就想结识这个张氏。
早年的来看呢，虽然朱熹比张氏年纪大一点，但是他跟这个张氏呢带有请教的意思。
At the Changnan Academy, Zhang Shi warmly welcomed Zhu Xi, who had travelled so far. It was, in fact, the 3rd meeting between the 2. After parting by the Ganshui River 3 years before, they'd been writing to each other constantly, discussing academic issues. Having not met in person for a long time, this face-to-face exchange seemed ever more important to both of them.
他们谈的主要的问题是围绕2个方面，第一是有关太极的问题，这就是关于世界的本源的问题；第二是综合的问题。
理学家讲修身涵养啊，就是涵养功夫。胡湘一派的戏路呢，是在已经表现出来的行动中查找自己的错误，而后呢，再努力的克服这个错误，回归到正确的人生方向上去。这在中国古典的意义上叫做于已发中求良心之闪现。那么朱子跟从他老师李彤学那一套东西，说静默涵养以察识天理，实际上不是在已发中，就不是在表现出来的行动中，是在人还没有表现的时候去体验天理，他体验不到年轻的时候，所以他就接住了胡湘学派这一戏路。
2个人围绕这2个问题，事实上是讨论得非常热烈。那个文献的记载是3日夜不能合。
这个岳麓书院是976年创建，到宋初就是天下4大书院之一。然后
On the west bank of the Qianshan River, the time-honored Yuelu Academy is still a place of cultural importance, attracting talented scholars from all over the country. Some 800 years ago, Zhu Xi and Jiangxi traveled frequently between the Changnan and Yuelu academies, located respectively on the 2 sides of the river, debating for a full 2 months all of the matters that concerned them.
张南轩这个人资质甚好，学问非常渊博，反应极其敏锐。我跟他在一起讨论了2个月，获得了重大的收获。这是朱子用今天的话来说的意思。
事实上，到这里来以后，他们在很多问题上面是有分歧的，讨论很热烈，但是彼此都能够去尊重对方，而且都能够去从对方的观点当中受益。
The meeting of Zhu and Jiang marked the beginning of a tradition of debate among the different schools of thought in Confucianism. The record of Zhu Xi and Jiangxi's debate at Yuelu Academy tells us that the weather on the day was clear and warm under the autumn sun. The 2 scholars carried on a conversation that was profound and ingenious. The hall was packed with an attentive audience. In fact, so many people arrived in their carriages or on horseback that the animals drank the pond by the front gate dry.
主张会讲，听讲的达到1000多人，但是他们的又没有话筒，怎么去解决这个声音能够听到的问题？事实上，在明代的后期，甚至在江西很多地方，阳明后学它有3000人的讲会，他当时用的不断的有人去往后面传话，前排的往后面就传一个话，10几排往20几排传一个话，不断的把他们讲的内容就传下去。
In the 3 years after his trip to Jiangxi, Zhu Xi systematized his ideas on the Confucian classics. He revised commentaries to the book Mencius and completed his commentaries on the Great Learning and a draft of Explanation of Jiangxi's Western Inscription, an interpretation of the core ideas of the renowned Northern Song Neo-Confucian. But what brought him the greatest satisfaction was that his compilations of the surviving works of the Changs, collected works of the 2 Changs, and explanations to the classics by the masters Chang were finally published.
这是朱熹人生中第一次飞跃式的前进，是通过跟胡湘学派的宗师胡宏的大弟子张氏的这种不断的交流和讨论获得的。所以朱熹的思想的这个质的飞升，这是第一次。
In the spring of the year 1175, Liu Zuqian came to the Wuyi Mountains from Wuzhou in modern Zhejiang. It was a meeting between old friends, long anticipated by Zhu. Lu Zuqian was a native of Wuzhou from the prestigious Lu family of Donglai. 8 generations of his bloodline had produced 5 chancellors and 17 presented scholars. Lu was the leader of the school of Wuzhou and hailed as one of the 3 worthies of the southeast, along with Zhu Xi and Jiangxi. Zhu Xi and Lu Zuqian's meeting at the Hanquan retreat lasted for more than 40 days. The two worked together to compile Record of Reflection on Things at Hand, the very first book of Neo-Confucianism quotations in the history of China. The meeting served as the spur for one of the best-known academic debates in the history of Chinese philosophy. Having finished their draft of Record of Reflection on Things at Hand, Lu Zuqian invited Zhu Xi to go with him to meet the Lu brothers of Jiangxi, Lu Jiuling and Lu Jiuyuan.
其实吕祖先呢，主要的思想还是靠近朱熹，所以这个陆九渊呢算他的学生了。他们的讲法他也听说了，他也觉得好像不是很妥当。但是呢，吕祖先他性格比较温厚，比较宽容啊，而且他也没有动力一定要去说服谁。他兄弟俩呢，也跟这个吕祖先讲过，想跟朱熹见面，那这样呢就促成了这样一个机会。
In the Southern Song dynasty, groups and schools of different ideas and academic theories were established across the country. During the Qunxi period, the Min school, represented by Zhu Xi, and the school of mind, represented by Lu Jiuyuan, became the 2 pillars of Neo-Confucianism. Lu Jiuyuan was the founder of the school of mind, a famous philosophy in the cultural history of China that was later developed by Wang Yangming. He and his brother Lu Jiuling gave lectures and taught students in Jiangxi, where they had great influence.
讲他的心学，在当时的临安城造成轰动啊，以至于陆卷到什么程度啊？晚上没法睡觉啊，拜访的人太多啊，白天拜访不完，晚上还有人来拜访，拜访了他几乎没时间睡觉，大家都很多人等着来跟他谈，就到了这种程度，可见他的影响。
陆九渊、陆九龄呢，也是知道朱子的思想的，因为他们那个时候啊，学者之间写完信呢，比方说这个朱子给张氏写一个信，这张氏的弟子很快把这个朱子的这个信呢就抄走了，然后就广为流布。那他那个时候的媒体是这个样子的，就跟你现在发一个微信，啪，你朋友给你发了一文章，你转出去一样。
In the 5th lunar month of the year 1175, Zhu Xi, Lu Zuqian and a group of a dozen people left Zhu Xi's Hanquan retreat and headed for Qianshan in Jiangxi through mountain passes between Fujian and Jiangxi. When passing by Jiaochu River in the Wui Mountains, the group stopped to appreciate the view of crimson mountains and gushing springs. They carved out their names on the cliff of Noise Rock. These are now some of the earliest cliff inscriptions found in the Wui Mountains. For centuries, these carvings showing only names and nothing else have been a perpetual mystery. No one knows why nothing else was added. Was it perhaps just a marker for the clash of ideas about to come?
朱熹往北走呢，也不算是很远，他们坐船下来呢也还方便，就找到了这个信州鹅湖寺作为一个讲学的地方。
等于各走一半路，差不多到鹅湖就居中绝费。
Ehu is in Qianshan County, Shangrao, Jiangxi. It was depicted by Wan Jia, a poet in the late Tang dynasty, as offering an idyllic scene. Under Ehu Mountain lay thriving crop fields, accompanied by unlatched wickets of livestock pens. The spring fete ends as the shadow of the mulberry tree indicates dusk, and drunken folks are helped home to each household. Zhu Xi's group arrived on the 28th of the 5th lunar month. The Lu brothers arrived later, with interested parties arriving by land or water.
那么陆九渊的哥哥陆九龄，他的思想呢，反而和朱熹更为接近。这个两人先讨论一番，说你我兄弟思想都不一样，何能期望和朱熹的思想汇归为一呢？
于是就开始说，咱俩先辩一下吧。辩了一晚上，陆九渊赢了。那陆九龄说，那咱们明天就按照你的道理去辩吧。
On the third day of the 6th lunar month of the year 1175, a huge crowd surrounded the entrances of the temple. Even the corridors were filled with intellectuals and curious bystanders from all over the country. They were expecting an epic battle between the most prominent scholars of their time. The Erhu debate commenced with a somewhat amusing session of poem reading. It began by Lu Zujian asking the Lu brothers the question, "What new academic achievements have you made of late?" The brothers exchanged glances, and then Lu Jiuling rose slowly and recited a poem he had composed en route. It was clearly aimed at Zhu Xi. Before Lu Jiuling even finished, Zhu Xi smiled and said to Lu Zujian, "It seems that Jiuling has long been in the same boat as Zhou Yuan."
朱子也知道陆九龄跟陆九渊不一样，一听说坏了，说你上了子敬的船呢，就是说你呢，这个等于是现在也跟陆九渊完全一致的思想。
No sooner did Lu Jiuling finish reciting his poem than Lu Jiuyuan started another one. As he got to line 5 and line 6 of it, which says, "My way, easy and simple, will go down in history, while your undermining cause is doomed to sink into oblivion," Zhu Xi's smiling face turned sullen.
自己事业就只朱熹了。你是看一个问题揪一番，你何尝是个头？你看把朱熹说成自己，朱熹肯定很不高兴了。一讲功夫，这是陆九渊说自己，说我的学问有个纲领，掌握我这个纲领就什么都可解。
那么在陆九渊看来呢，做人和读书没有必然的联系。比如说他有一句很经典的话：“若某不是一个字，亦须还我堂堂的做个人。”所以他说呢，我教人呢只是与他简单，那么朱子教人呢是与他这个加淡。 我这是一简功夫，你那是支离事业。
At this, Zhu Xi's expression became extremely serious. Even his students sitting behind him realized that something was wrong. Lu Zujian, hosting the debate, had not expected the atmosphere to turn so fierce on day one. To ease the awkward situation, Lu hastily announced the debate adjourned until the following day.
朱熹的性格他是好辩，但是小陆这个人呢，他的口才啊是善辩，他很会辩论，很会讲话。应该说呢，这个辩论中呢，朱熹没占到便宜。
陆九渊呢，他就讲真伪啊，孰得辩之清？那就是说，你朱熹是伪的，对吧？我才是真的。 所以从这个意义上讲的话呢，朱熹对于他们这个批评当然是很不满意的，所以的话不欢而散。
The debate continued the next day. Both sides, forewarned by the previous session, came prepared. Neither would give way easily. The second session soon reached a climax.
在这个阶段，朱陆之辩最大的分歧是为学方法的问题。
朱熹呢讲的呢就是格物穷理，格物穷理最重要就是读书。那陆九渊讲的就是不用多读书，人主要是发明本心。
因为我们也知道，读书确实不一定就能够提升人的道德人格。 那你有念了一肚子书、道德败坏的人，我们也见得多了。因此他说，我们为学最重要的是先立乎其大，立这个本心，把我们没有污染的那个心恢复过来。所以这是双方的真正分歧。
陆简准备这个问题，你不是要成为圣贤吗？说尧舜是不是圣贤？那尧舜是读了什么书啊？尧舜之前没说。
On the third day of the debate, the two sides reached the very core of their intellectual duel. Zhu Xi believed that the world operated by heavenly principles. Lu Jiuyuan, on the other hand, claimed that the mind is the origin of the universe.
朱子的心是在作用上的心，可是象山呢，就直指你的本心。那个心就是孟子讲的良知，孔子讲的人心，就心的本身。因为朱子他不相信我们一般人，你那么棒啊，圣人才是这样。那么我们一般俗人我们要不断的要修为，不断的要把我们的渣子、我们乱七八糟的东西要清洗，要清洗，要清洗。最后面你的那个心才能显露出来。所以朱子是谏教，象山是顿教，
谁也没有说服谁。所以呢，这两种思想呢，就自己在各自的道路上发展。那么发展到了明代，陆九渊的思想呢，就变成了王阳明的心学，而朱子的思想呢，是在自己的道路上一直发展。所以到了明代以后呢，很多的这个学者继续在朱子的这个思想上面发展。所以呢，从两股道上的车。
On the fourth day, the atmosphere changed. The dramatic clash of ideas and intensity of argument seen on the first 3 days was transformed to be like a tranquil lake on a calm and windless day. Both sides had found common ground in their basic Confucian standpoints and their primary purposes.
朱子跟陆象山，因为他们两个毕竟是大儒啊，他们的境界高嘛，虽然不一样，我对你某一些地方互相我不欣赏、不认同，可是两个人都能互相尊重。
明末清初黄宗羲他有一个总结，对吧？他就说他们二先生之间虽然说他们有很多的理论上的这个冲突，但是在根本点上他们同治纲常，同服明教，同宗孔孟，我们把它叫三统。在儒学的基本立场上，在纲常人伦上，在树立理学的精神价值的上，他这些方面他们是一致的。
Finally, on the 8th day of the 6th month, Zhu Xi, Lu Zujian and the Lu brothers led their disciples to bid farewell to each other. The Erhu debate, known throughout China's philosophical history as the debate of a millennium, officially came to an end.
很多事情都不一定有明显的结果，交流本身吧也是一件好事。对南宋整个学术的发展来讲，应该说还是一个促进。朱熹、张氏他们已经是在当时已经是主流学者了，他们作为一个新进者，跟这个主流人物做了这么一个这个旗鼓相当的这么辩论，对他们来讲，这好处是比较大的。
最伟大的心灵的碰撞，不管什么样的性格，不管什么样的结局，这么伟大的人物生活在同一个时代，彼此能见面，然后有交往，又有思想的冲撞，这本身都是这个哲学史、思想史，也是其实人类精神文明史的巅峰吧。
On the return journey from Erhu Temple, Zhu Xi and his group came to the mountain pass between Fujian and Jiangxi. It seemed as if the mountains lined up in formation while the rivers went their separate ways. The sight inspired Zhu Xi to a new reflection on the recent debate. If not separated by the terrain, rivers do not run in isolation. To learn how they part ways, seek for their common origination.
听说朱熹呢，他自己也做了自己的反思，也承认自己在这个学问上自己的思想出色于支离破碎的方面。从俄湖智慧上回来以后，他就重新的认识自己的这个理学著作， 承续4年，他就实现了自己生平学问的第一次总结。
Jianyang, located at the southern foot of the Wuyi Mountains, used to be known as the Kingdom of Books, thanks to its once thriving print industry. During the Southern Song dynasty, Jianyang books were as famous as Zhejiang and Sichuan books, making it one of China's 3 great centres of woodblock printing. More than once, records in Chinese publishing history were made here. Printing activity was centred around today's Shufang and Masha, about 50 kilometres away from Wufu at the foot of the Wuyi Mountains. It was this local industry that allowed Zhu Xi's works to be published and spread at a very impressive speed.
And one of the places that develops a very, very important publishing industry is, of course, Jianyang in northern Fujian. I guess you would say avocations, in addition to being a philosopher and an official, he was also quite an active publisher. I think that was probably their first motive in wanting to publish their works, was to not only spread knowledge, but also spread a particular kind of knowledge, a particular.
大家往上面看，这2边的壁画上面有一个明白这个地方是雕版之乡。
Zhang Jianbin is an inheritor of Jianyang woodblock printing, part of Fujian's intangible cultural heritage. In an attempt to promote Jianyang's book culture, he regularly gives demonstrations of woodblock printing.
朱子家训就是朱熹的家训，大概要刻个1个礼拜这样子这块板，啊，200多个字。现在我叫个同学来试验体验一下，好不好？
Jianyang books and Zhu Xi are the 2 pillars of traditional Jianyang culture. As an inheritor of Jianyang printing, Zhang Jianbin's dream is to combine the 2 and make them known to the world outside. Recently, he's been focusing on woodblock printing Zhu Xi's commentaries on the Great Learning.
我们这个所有的这些工具啊、道具啊、选料啊，都是经过多年这样子摸索的。我们是有把握做这个。
The commentaries on the Great Learning, printed and published in Jianzhou, was Zhu Xi's magnum opus. To guarantee perfection of this project, Zhang Jianbin carves in the most delicate manner he can, not daring to neglect a single stroke. Inking, laying the paper, patting. The technique is just as it was 8 centuries ago. This was how Zhu Xi's works, one after another, were printed and disseminated across the empire. At its peak, there were hundreds of printers in Jianyang, and Zhu Xi's Tongwen Academy was among them. In 1177, some of Zhu Xi's most important works were published in Jianzhou, including commentaries on the Great Learning, queries on the Great Learning, commentaries on the Doctrine of the Mean, queries on the Doctrine of the Mean, and the collected commentaries on the Analects and Mencius. Printing and publishing of these works all at once marked the coming into being of Zhu Xi's complete pattern of the 4 books.
And the real brilliance with which he takes first of all, takes the Confucian canon and selects the 4 books, the Si Shu, as the best sort of beginning guides to Confucianism.
到了北宋的时候，《大学》《论语》《孟子》《中庸》都有广泛的影响，但是并没有人试图把它们结构起来。 作为一部完整的、成系统的、成体系的一个典籍系统。四书的出现，等于是说朱子用一个人的力量，就改变了中国经典的版图。
大学之道，在明明德，在亲民，在止于至善，知始而后有定。
The four books system established by Zhu Xi became the basis of studies for Chinese intellectuals from the time of the Southern Song dynasty. To this day, the four books are still considered the basis of Chinese intellectual study. They've had a profound influence on Chinese society and its people.
我们从那个千字文开始到孟子，我们基本上都有连续没有间断的过来上课，让孩子从小学习格物致知、诚意正心，然后让他有树立这种理念以后，就是才能真正做到修齐治平。
从世书当中去入门，因为这是我们中华5000年文化真的生生不息、源源不断的留下来的这精髓。我觉得从这些古文当中，让我们学会怎么样做人，然后再去做事。
In the year 1180, Jiangxi Zhu Xi's lifelong friend died at the age of 48 at his post as a government official in Jingzhou, Hubei. The next year, Liu Zuqian, the sponsor of the Erhu debate, died at the age of 45 in Wuzhou, Zhejiang. Among the three worthies of the southeast, Zhu Xi was now the last man standing. The whole burden of promulgating Neo-Confucianism in the Southern Song fell upon his shoulders.
1180, 1181. Zhu Xi makes it very clear in his eulogy to Liu Ziqian that the people that are left, there's no one that is his equal. There's no one that can correct his mistakes and warn him about his own shortcomings. And this is an amazing declaration of his determination to be the leader of this group.
After the death of Liu Zuqian, Zhu Xi took up a post in Zhejiang as tea and salt supervisor. On his way to the post, Zhu Xi made a brief stop at Mingjiao Mountain in Wui County, where he mourned his lost friend. On the first day there, someone rushed to find him. It was Qian Liang, a young cousin of Liu Zuqian. Qian Liang from the Yongkang school was an outstanding talent with a generous and independent personality. Out of admiration for Zhuge Liang, the legendary strategist of the Three Kingdoms era, he had changed his given name from Ru Nang to Liang.
李祖先结束呢，这个陈亮就开始。他到了浙江呢，他就见到陈亮。陈亮也是很豪爽的人，跟朱熹呢还是谈得很来。陈亮就是运气不好，非常有才气的人，可是运气不好，就是科举啊，就是一直是不成功。
These children of Qianshan Primary School are singing The Graces of Duo Jing Tower, a poem composed by Qian Liang. Some 800 years later, Qian Liang's fellow townsmen are still, in their own way, commemorating this prodigy of the Southern Song. About 13 kilometers from the school stands Wufeng Academy, founded by Qian Liang himself. In the year 1182, during his inspection tour of what is today's Zhejiang, Zhu Xi spent some time lecturing at the Wufeng Academy. At the time, the utilitarian theories promoted by Chen Liang were popular in the prosperous area. But as Zhu Xi learned more and more about Chen Liang's ideas, a debate became inevitable.
Chen Liang, at the beginning of their relationship, sent Zhu Xi 10 essays that he had written. And Zhu Xi said that he was unwilling to share these with his students because he was afraid that if his students read these 10 essays, they would be led astray. They would have the wrong kind of ideas. So Zhu Xi was shocked, surprised at how radical Chen Liang could be and the kind of intellectual environment in Jiadong.
深处来讲，本质上他不是一个理学家，应该说他的思想跟这个南宋境遇啊是有比较直接的关系。就是在南宋这个比较衰落的时代，处处都是危机的时代，怎么走一个富国强兵，这个一个有为是吧，一个立功的时代。朱熹呢，他们是从学术思想来走的，所以跟他思想不一样，所以朱熹呢和他就两个人就有辩论了嘛。
In the spring of 1184, Chen Liang was falsely accused and imprisoned. After Chen Liang regained his freedom, he received a letter from Zhu Xi trying to persuade him to be a pure Confucian and speak less of utilitarianism. However, Chen Liang paid no attention, and there began the long-lasting debate on the way of the sage ruler and that of the powerful ruler.
王道呢，按照我们通俗来说呢，就是以道德修养来规范来教育。那么按照我们现在通常讲的，就以德治国，以德治民。霸道呢，就是讲究势的一方面。陈亮啊，他是认为呢，在这个对社会的治理呢，如果完全靠德育教化是不行的，所以呢，还是需要有霸道的这个方面，要有力。
陈亮就认为唐太宗是圣人，那朱子就不承认的。 朱子说：“虽然他有功，他的功绩也做得很大，这个把自己兄弟都杀了的人，怎么可以是圣人呢？”
Besides having different viewpoints on state governance and history, Zhu Xi and Chen Liang also debated the relationship between righteousness and benefit.
实际上，朱熹并不是反对利的，朱熹认为要以义为重。 以义为先，而这个作为这个陈亮这个四公学派呢，他们认为呢，义和利呢是可以并举的，利和义呢并不相矛盾。
朱子对这个功利主义呢保持高度的警惕和高压的这个批判，因为他认为，功利主义呢是一种把社会和个人啊这个引向一个错误轨道的。
Unlike any other academic debates in the past, this one was carried out mainly through letters. The two sides kept this back and forth going for almost 11 years, but no one knows where the letters finished up.
通信啊，成为当时士大夫交往一个主要的渠道。那么朱熹写信呢，也不是单方面的。 做这个学术的这些讨论，那一定是有这个可以交谈的对手。然后我们把这类书信呢叫做论学书。论学书的真正出现，那就是应该是在宋代，特别是南宋。那朱熹就是最大的这个大家，就是一生中跟他的这些思想的这些对手啊，写了这个无数封信呢。
论战当中呢，实际上呢，这个陈亮的观点有点混乱，也有漏洞，所以呢。 在实际的论战当中呢，朱熹他是占了上风。
The Jiangxi River, with its 9 bends, is a must-see for tourists when they visit the Wuyi Mountains. It was where some 800 years ago, Zhu Xi built his Wuyi retreat at the 5th bend of the river. Over the next 8 years, Zhu Xi debated against Chen Liang on the idea of the sage ruler, against Lu Jiuyuan on the cosmological concept of Wuji and Taiji, and against Guo Yong on the Book of Change and the 8 trigrams. In the year 1185, in the midst of these intense debates and stimulating discussions with other scholars, Zhu Xi once again revised his commentaries on the Great Learning and the Doctrine of the Mean. It was the second time for him to summarize his learning, with which the 4-book system he had established reached its completed state.
他的成功之处是说，他最大限度的解释了四书，那么他又把理学的思想体系灌输到这个四书的这个注释之中，这是朱熹一生完成的一部著作。
朱熹讲这个五经啊，好像是带着壳的稻米，四书呢是煮熟的饭，就是你要把稻谷哈，你得把那个壳都去掉，把那个糙的地方都磨掉，最后剩下精米，精米再做成熟饭，这才是饭。他说这是五经跟四书的区别，那就是说，其实四书呢应该是五经的精华。
四书章句居注就成为元代以后元明清科举的一个标准的教科书，所以它影响了可以说到元明清这个后来这个近1000年的这个时间吧，是影响最大的书。
Through his days of discussing and studying philosophy, Zhu Xi became clearer about the world. One afternoon, while reading classics at home, Zhu Xi was suddenly filled with admiration for ancient Confucian sages from the spring and autumn period and the power of their ideas to reform the country. Driven by this emotion, he composed his poem, On a Spring Day. A glorious sun dapples the water's edge. A boundless prospect arises new. Instinctively feeling the wind of change, a riot of colour that must herald spring. Today, the students and teachers attending Master Jules Path 2017 are at the Kaoting Academy in Jiangxi, tracing the steps of Zhu Xi's academic career. Zhu Xi spent the last 8 years of his life here in Kaoting. This was the place where he completed his system of Neo-Confucianism and changed the focus of his studies to Confucian classics like the Book of Documents, as well as literary works by Chu Yuan and Han Yu. It was also here that Zhu Xi wrote his last important works.
"第三次的思想总结呢，那就是在他晚年庆元党经的时候。庆元党经啊，理学昭进，所以呢，朱熹呢，他这个转向了其他方面的研究，写了理学的代表作《以理经传通解》，比如他转向了文学的研究，他写了《韩文考异》，他转向了对楚辞的研究，写了《楚辞节注》。
朱熹的学问不受限于宋代的学问，它来自于把很多非常庞大的，甚至不同时代里面的分歧，慢慢把它化解掉，然后就提出他自己觉得可以被接受而具有意义的这个系谱跟线索出来。而这样情况底下，使得我们所理解的儒学它有了体系，使得儒学有了精神，所中国文化里面有了系统。那我想这个就是他最大的贡献。
In the year 1192, after 7 sets of revisions, 63-year-old Zhu Xi finally completed the collected commentaries on the 4 books. It was a canon accomplished after 40 years of endeavour. The most essential and popular of his works, it crystallizes the Chengzhu school of Neo-Confucianism and epitomizes Zhu Xi's understanding of Confucian philosophy. Qian Mu, who spent a lifetime studying Zhu Xi, concluded that both Confucius and Zhu Xi were extraordinarily influential across the entire span of China's history and culture. Zhu Wang, a renowned historian in the Qing dynasty and a prominent figure of the Zhedong school, concisely described Zhu Xi's thought. While extending his cases of learning from the Sung and Yuan, he wrote that Zhu Xi's thought was extensive, profound, ingenious, and inclusive of the wisdom of all ages.
这个朱子的很多话是讲道理的，是很明白，很能够让普通人所接受的。他不是太出世、脱离实际的，而是入世的，而是结合社会实践的。那么现在我们看朱子呢，也是一个活生生的人，而不是一个高高在上的一个圣人。
孔子把他以前的1500年甚至更久的历史，他的文化，他的所积累的那些中国人的政治的智慧、历史的智慧，和人生的智慧做了总结。那孔子以后又1500年，那就是朱子把它做了新的总结，是吧？成为新的一个集大成的代表人物。
Facing the infinite galaxy, people often compare sheer greatness to the stars, and they look to the Big Dipper for guidance. In the Star Atlas of Human Civilization, as we look upon the intellectual history of China, the Confucian sages, much like the Big Dipper shining through the mists of time, will last for eternity.